We're here. We're very deep into this week. That's for sure. We're so deep. Scott's gone for a mix between Scott and Joe this time.
Yeah, it does feel like a Joe outfit, doesn't it?
It's very much.
Yeah. I was sat by where the PlayStation is, and these are blue light glasses. So I saw them while I was eating some chicken and rice, and I thought, do you know what?
I'm going to get one.
I bet everyone wants to see me in glasses.
Yeah, I should go get my blue light glasses too, because we're still 30-plus-year-olds that play computer games.
That is 100% right, and I will forever play computer games.
Agreed. And I'm not sure the last time that I wore those blue light. I think I got it in when I thought I was gonna stream.
Oh yeah. I got them because I when you play originally. I get it now when you have like a week off. You get a bit lightheaded and your eyes kind of go.
Yeah.
But every time I wear them, I don't know if because you're not a glasses wearer like I am. If I wear glasses, I get a headache. And even if they're not even if they're not prescription, I think just having something on my face. I had it when I started wearing hats. I think I was so not used to something on my head that I'd get headaches, and now it's
I look quite good in glasses, I think.
You do, yeah.
Ish. It depends on the style, but that's the same for everyone, I think.
Yeah, it's tough as well. And also, I've got a ring light right in front of me, so I'm keeping my head slightly down because of this.
Mate, we need to soften that ring light, okay? We need to soften that hard light, okay?
Yeah. So these might come off shortly because look at that.
Yeah, it's not.
There they are.
It's not the one. It's not the one, but it's fine. It's fine. Wow.
But no, I wanted to really pop you with the visual.
It definitely popped me. You should have kept it covered until we did the whole 3, 2, 1. Because I had to go put my shirt on after that.
Yeah. I must admit, when I joined, you were shirtless. That is true.
Yeah.
Are you telling me that's not in the podcast?
Nah, unfortunately not. That's a. I was going to say Spotify exclusive, but it's not. It's Patreon exclusive.
Patreon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and before anyone tries to buy our Patreon, there isn't one. But eventually there will be shirtless Bruno content.
Yeah.
There will be, for example, I've had a hell of a week. The real stories will be on a Patreon someday.
Wow.
But the stories that are allowed to be known will be on today's episode, of course, because like Gold Chain Cowboy once said, it's been a hell of a year, but it's actually been a hell of a week.
A hell of a week for old Scotty and Joe, Peppercorn number 2 and 5, I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, that sounds right. Gotta be.
Let's start. So we finished the pod last Tuesday, and then you were straight thrust into it last Wednesday. We
were. Joe and I went and did Dynamite, AEW Dynamite, in Cardiff, the Utilita Arena.
What's that?
I think apparently they sell something. I think they overprice things to people that aren't as wealthy.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, we went there, and I mean, the first thing is I've not worn a suit or anything that resembles a suit in a very long time. So the comfort levels, and by the end of this week, by the way, I've got very used to wearing this outfit.
Yeah, you do, don't you?
Yeah, it's just I think it's like we were talking about the glasses and stuff. I think you just get used to it. But we had our, we went with black trousers, black shirt because we thought we might do some extra work for All Elite Wrestling, which we ended up doing.
Full name and everything.
Yeah. Oh, it's a good company. It's a brilliant company. Brilliant facility. But we ended up doing, you'll see it, I'm sure. Bruno might put a picture up, but we did security for an MJF versus Will Ospreay.
Yeah, he saved his life.
Which I nearly hit that Tiger Driver. I mean, we're not the best security outfit I've ever seen. And
you weren't in cohesion, were you?
No, and we definitely didn't get in there quick enough.
Oh, wow.
Would go wrong. Considering that Maxwell Jacob Freeman was saying some pretty horrible stuff, we should probably have got in a little bit earlier. But, you know, but it's full circle. We wrestled Will.
A man's wife is a man's life, mister.
What is that from Harry Potter?
No, it's South Park. Bane, UPS man. A man's wife is a man's life, Mr. UPS man.
I didn't expect you to do a South Park reference at all. But no, we wrestled him 7 years ago, so it was like a full circle that he's become obviously the biggest wrestler, probably the best wrestler in the world, and we've just about made security for one of his segments. So I mean, the trajectory of those two, acts has been pretty much parallel. You would have to say. You would say,
yeah, yeah. Nah, he was a special boy.
But no, he's very good. He's very good, and we did that, which was the prelude to the weekend, which was going to be Wembley Stadium.
Yeah, because you only thought that you were going to get the Wembley stuff. So
Cardiff, originally Wembley, and then the
Cardiff stuff snuck up on you a little bit.
Yeah, the Cardiff one was a little bit more unnerving. Do you know what I mean? Because there's more chance of doing stuff, whereas with Wembley, it's it's a massive pay-per-view. You don't think you're going to be thrust into anything major.
Probably in hindsight, obviously being on your home turf helped, but having that Wednesday before probably helped out a lot more for the Sunday, even though from what you told me off camera that it was quite two different things anyway. And it was always going to be one's a very small arena and one's a conglomerate stadium.
Yeah,
I don't know why I say
the mecca of world football.
Exactly, it's where footy was born.
Michael Jackson, Eminem, Freddie Mercury, the Brothers Orr have all graced the stage. Taylor Swift, sorry.
4 days before. 4 days.
Yeah, I think it was the same stage because I think that was a deal that was done.
In what way?
So I think if you run Wembley, the staging.
Okay, all right.
That was Swift stage.
That's cool.
It had T Swift written on stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, this is mad.
You should have taken pictures of that.
And I think it was a very similar. It's mad that she graced those exact same hallways.
You did. You stood where Hayley Williams and Taylor Swift stood.
Oh my. That's very true. I didn't even think of that. Hayley Williams as well. That's even bigger.
Living my dream.
Yeah. So we got to do that, and it was cool as well because I think we got changed in the England.
Yeah.
Change room.
Fast-forwarding to Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah, as far as a football fan.
That stuff backstage, just being in because when I went to see Taylor Swift, we went through the Club Wembley stuff, but we saw all the people lining up to go in, and it was like a whole massive ordeal. And I was like, and then when you said, I was like, that's where you went through, and then you got to see all the nitty gritty workings that is Wembley, which is pretty sick.
That's what I thought was really cool because I mean we're lifelong wrestling fans, so watching even when you think of WrestleMania, when they turn up to WrestleMania, there's all the security and all that kind of stuff, and you have to go through, and it's everyone's in their suits, and it's quite a big deal. Getting to kind of experience that at cool time and stuff like that, I think that's some of the coolest stuff that we've really ever done as far as outside of personal stuff. I mean, it's I don't know, it was. If anything, it was surreal, and I don't think I've fully digested it.
It'll take a while.
It's kind of just
just
kind of there, I think one day I'll go, oh.
Hey, yeah, we won't until we've reached that sort of that mountaintop thing, set a fire and just sit out and just reflect. That's the days.
Well, eventually the Peppercorns will do a live show in Wembley, so it won't, it'll mean different.
And that too, yeah. And we'll have, and we'll have that ranch when we're all in our late 60s.
Yeah, we'll have the ranch, and we'll also have a podcast studio on the ranch because it'll be a lot easier. So basically we did Mercedes Monet's, the Formula Sasha Banks' entrance. We were dressed as, I was told beef ears. People have said beef ears, but it's not a beef ear, is it? Beef ears wear a flat cap.
Is it the King's Guard now? Then is that what it's called?
I don't know.
I would say what you wore when you told me, and then when you showed me, I didn't think, oh, that's not a beef eater. But I'm just having a quick look now.
So I think beef eater is at Christmas.
Yeah. I think you might be right, but
I don't know though.
That's okay, so maybe it is you were Queen Monet's guard. They're the King's Guard. Okay. They're the King's Guard, the ones that are on horses and are obnoxiously angry all the time. But to be fair,
why are they so mad?
It's respect, and the public do not respect them, which I kind of like. If I was that and high ranking and like this was my job and it was actual like security, then I'd be that angry if they touched my horse. Strict rules, mate. Like you have to. Hey, going into any country, you respect their culture.
Yeah, that's true.
So you're a King's Guard, Queen's Guard in this case.
A Queen's Guard, yeah. Mercedes Monet's Guard. Monet.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but yeah, and I don't know if anyone's seen it. There was corgis involved, which again is a kind of a full circle, weird kind of thing, isn't it? The fact that we work with dogs, and then there was actual dogs involved in our Wembley moment. But I mean, I quotate it because I don't want to, seem lame. But I mean, it was also very cool to be on the stage at Wembley. So.
You are out there, because whenever I watch like festivals or stadium tours, and it's looking out at the stage to that many people, I've always wondered what it looks like in whether you were a part of it or the main part of it. You were there, so you're experiencing it. Yeah. So how did that feel? Because that's crazy.
I tell you what, it's so mad because going back to Cardiff, I've never done a tryout. Like for example, Kieran Little Red, he's done a tryout before in like 2017 where he went to the O2 and he did the thing in the ring, and I mean he got to touch the announcers table and the foam sides and the flooring and stuff. And you go, man, this is like TV. I've never been, as much as shows as I've been to and wrestling matches I've done, I've never done that part where like there's an announcers table and all the squidginess and all the kind of randomness of it all. Yeah. So Cardiff was quite like mad because again, it was one of the longest segments in AEW history. So we could actually be like, wow, like this is what it feels like. And Will is so popular, getting to feel. But like, by the way, that entrance he did with how big the crowd went. My God, it was so hard to like keep your adrenaline down and be like, like I'm a security guard. I was just like, my God, how do you? No wonder people get like addicted to it, because that was something else. Like to be a part of it, like you almost wanted to like cry just because it was so like kind of takes you back kind of thing. But to kind of experience that, then to go and then look out at Wembley in front, I think it was 55 in the end, 55,000. But the way they did the setup this year was really nice because they had obviously it's not 90,000 because that's a gigantic crowd, but the staging was at the back. So it took up a lot, like a third at the back, which is such a better kind of way of doing it.
It was old school wrestling now because everyone had moved to the side entrances.
Little stage, yeah. And just kind of wondering, when we first walked out under house lights.
Oh.
And, with Mercedes to kind of get into the carriage or whatever. And it was just, the VT was still playing. Or I think it was, I think Britt was still doing her entrance. But we kind of wandered out and we kind of like, and Joe like grabbed my shoulder and was like, that's Wembley. And I was just like, what is happening? Like, it's mad. And it was such an eerie feeling because obviously everyone's looking at Britt and you were just kind of up there like, you get into position. We'd rehearsed it a couple of times, but we did the entrance with the corgis. The corgis come out, all this kind of good stuff. We go out and obviously it's dark. You look at it. We did the rehearsal with Mercedes a couple of times, so we knew what we were doing. And we kind of turn it, and you go to kind of look down the ramp. And what was nice about it was, I think to be honest, they were really good. The company were really good about the idea of they wanted us to experience it and not kind of. For example, the guards, we could have walked it over and then stared forward at kind of an area of the stadium where there's not many people and had to hold it. Whereas instead, they allowed us all to turn and look down and kind of be a part of the shot. And I think things like that are just kind of a nice little, you know what I mean? Kind of gives us throws us a bone. Obviously, letting us be there is, one thing, but to let us kind of do that and experience it with such a big talent like Mercedes, you get to actually experience, there's a reaction, there's everything like that. Because, Did
those TikToks go up?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Well, guys, look forward to this. There is a TikTok. Follow Mercedes Monet on anything.
I'm so looking forward.
There's
to that.
a lot. There's a lot of TikToks involved in the process in which we ended up on that stage, and including the Corgis of Eton. Go follow them as well. This is the 3 Corgis and the handler on Instagram. Those Corgis were so good. And obviously, because I work in a rescue, I spoke to, shout out to Amanda Huber, who was absolutely amazing on the day, who works for AEW. And we talked about dogs, things like this, and like the idea of pyro. And obviously, they had the issue with Cody years back. So I was like, we can't have pyro when there's dog. And she was like, absolutely not. We're going to make sure everything's kind of set. But these corgis, I think you could have set off a like firework next to them. Fine. Like, they were like, no, they had no bother. Because I mean, the surround sound and stuff was big, and they were just chilling. They were like wagging their tails. They weren't stressed. There was no drooling. They were loving it. So, as far as that stuff, but we had that conversation. We had that conversation with Mercedes as well, with the fact that we work with dogs in the week, and then this is what happens.
Oh,
and it was
that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's like a nice kind of
hot
it was a mad experience.
Yeah,
it's just such a surreal. But yeah, looking out, it was mad, and also the way the stage was, it was kind of flat, and then it just dropped.
Yeah,
I don't know if you saw.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah,
it is so vertical, that thing. That luckily we didn't have to walk that part. Because if we had to walk that carriage down there, I don't think we would have had control of it. No. Yeah. It went down, and what was weird was when she was doing her entrance, you could kind of see, and her head kind of disappeared down into the.
So you definitely were on Taylor's thing, and then it probably went out into the diamond. It just went down at that point.
It dropped down, yeah.
That's cool.
And and just kind of she went down and that and whatever, and we had time, and then obviously the lights go down, production, and we get the thing away and all that kind of stuff. But it was surreal to kind of see that many people and the weirdest takeaway I had from it was it felt normal. I don't know if that makes any sense.
No.
It felt right. Like, it felt like I need to be the person they're watching, not the person. And I didn't think I'd have that. I thought I'd just be terrified. Like, that's a lot of people. This is scary. I didn't have that. I just had this kind of like,
that's the adrenaline stuff, though, isn't it?
Yeah, and it just made me kind of go, I want to see what that production looks like with Joe and I, or whatever it is, and kind of get down that stage. And I don't know, it normalized it, but also made it, again, I haven't fully digested it, I don't think, so maybe I'm speaking out of
No, I think that's right. And obviously we spoke to Sam and Lou, and they were kind of like, they echoed sort of the same thing.
Because me and Joe and I have brought this up a lot. I remember listening to a Dean Ambrose podcast, and he talked about it and said you need to jump from your first training session to WrestleMania for you to truly experience how wild it is. Because when you start before you start training, the idea of training seems daunting and like not real. Once you start training, the idea of doing a match in front of 9 people seems daunting and like not a thing that's really going to happen. And then again, the same in front of 5,000, then the same in front of TV, then a pay-per-view, then a WrestleMania in a stadium. Because you go through all the ladders, like, you make every step. By the time you get to it, you almost, it's not bitterness, but it's almost this is where I'm supposed to be. And it's normal. I've become normalized to this idea of this many people looking at me, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does make sense, yeah.
It definitely has that feeling, but it's not that I didn't feel anything like someone else we know. But it's the idea that it felt right. It felt good.
Ouchie.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
And how cool was it with the fact that this weekend, if you're following Bailey on social media, or Elton Prince, or I'm going to say Sammy Smooth, but his name's Kit Wilson. Bailey and the boys were hanging out on Sunday night.
Crazy.
And then the brothers all were on stage with Sasha Banks, and they're best friends. We're all best friends. What are the chances of that all happening in one night?
It was written.
All in Europe as well. Yeah, it's mad. It really is mad. And the biggest news of all this, Bruno, is we've met Renee.
I know. You've met so many people. Renee's that's a big one for me. Little sweetheart.
And it's an odd one as well, because like I said, one day in a Patreon, I'll give you as much information as possible, and Bruno will get all the information. But I mean, there is a thing in there, like you want to keep it's like the magic circle, isn't it? You don't want to.
Yeah.
I can give my feelings, my emotions, but I don't want to give much else away because it's other people's things and that kind of thing. But it was very cool, and it was cool to see the response online from a lot of people that I didn't think necessarily supported Joe and I. Yeah, it was like, everyone was supportive of it, like, about time kind of thing. And it was like, it was a nice feeling. And that to have work in between the two was also a lovely thing. to kind of the two passions or three passions in life of podcasting, dogs, and wrestling.
Yeah, you did that in the space.
The last 7 days, that's what I've done, you know? So it was really nice. And we also got to spend a day in London. Like,
yeah, that's probably the highlight of Joe's day. The highlight of Joe's week, wasn't it?
I'll say this. I'm not saying the hotel's name. It was the worst hotel I've ever stayed in.
Oh, no.
But it did its job. I never once left anything slightly more valuable than a nice t-shirt in that room.
Wow.
But I mean, it worked.
Was it janky, was it?
And I'll show you a picture after this because I don't want to bury them. Because it did the job. It did the job.
You should, mate.
We got our snacks in.
You're high stars now.
And also I like a hotel, and I know of a hotel that someone else stayed in that was essentially like a pub, and it's upstairs. And those types really scare me. So I would always take like a janky tour hotel over the idea of a small little pub / someone's real house. It kind of like just somewhat like a house share or something. And that worries me way more. Even if it looks nicer, it just worries me more. I don't know why, but we're hotel people, aren't we?
We love a hotel. Sorry, I was taking a massive swig.
No, you're right. I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah, I'm going to have to keep it in as well, which is annoying because the audience is going to see my eye, and I usually get rid of that.
I think you turned your head slightly, so I don't think you saw the eye. I think you might be right.
I hope so.
I didn't spot it. But all those years of me also saying you've got that eye when you drink, and my eye is slowly starting to go that way without drinking.
Is it?
Kind of this one's just starting to look down sometimes, I swear.
Yeah. Don't do it, mate. The quorum goes out the window, mate, remember?
Honestly, that's pretty much what I did last time, but I screamed in a co-op, and I looked around and I was dying, but no one did anything. They just looked at me, and I was just the sound that came out was mad.
When you choke on your own saliva, yeah, it's bad. I think it's probably I'm not going to say it's the worst thing, but it's so hard to get rid of. Yeah.
I think it's as well because you're suppressing it, so you really don't want to cough.
Yeah.
So you're kind of doing something with your throat that makes it like ticklier, but I don't know. But getting back to what we were talking about.
Oh.
We had the hotel. We went to see an Arsenal game in a Wembley
based. That looked good.
Bar, yeah. The picture was much nicer than what was happening in that room. It felt a little bit like a British Legion. You ever been to a British Legion? That kind of like... it was a bit like that. I know
what you mean, yeah.
Yeah. There was one...
Why do you always find the most skanky places?
Well, the problem was, I thought the hotel had a sports bar in there, but the sports bar what looked like a Chinese restaurant with like very severe lights, and it was quite small. And I thought, I don't want to watch it in there. I want to watch it in a bar. So I looked up sports bar, and it said Stadium Sports Bar, and I thought, oh, it's going to be like the coolest sports bar. It was, like London, you get like news agents looking front that just open. It was just that, and it just went back the width of this room, basically. It looked nice, and had a load of cool memorabilia in there. But
the pool table looked in good condition. That's all that matters to the big man.
Yeah, and like I said, two guys played what potentially might have been the worst game. It took my eye off the game. And these two guys, they came over at the start, and they were like, I'm so sorry. We're going to play pool. I know you're watching the game. Like, do you want us to not play? But we're only going to play one game. And I was like, no, you're good. Like, I'm fine. There's two TVs. Like, if you're in the way, I'll just look at the other TV. And they're like, okay, cool. They started, and they proceeded to have a 35-minute game of red v yellow pool.
Clinic, was it?
The white went in the pocket maybe 8 times a piece. They missed everything. They nearly ripped the felt 3 or 4 times.
Oh, no.
The game ended early because the black went in. I was watching that more than the game. I was like,
it's unbelievable watching people try and play pool. And I'm not a snob, and I don't pretend that I'm any good. But I feel like I am okay. I feel like I'm okay enough that I don't look too silly, and I can tell as soon as someone bridges like what their bridge looks like. If they start doing this, I know that okay, we've got some issues.
What are you then? Are you one of these guys?
I am more that. Yeah.
I think I do like maybe three or two fingers and then over the thumb.
It's a strong. Yeah, I'm over the thumb, but pool, if you watch it online, is always like through the thumb, and I can't get the grips with it. But people that don't play pool don't look good doing that. It looks like it's all like wobbly.
It's cack-handed, yeah. But these guys, I think one of them was doing them like underneath. I think like this. I think he was just kind of running it along. But no, they had. It took my eye off a very poor football game. To be fair,
was it poor?
The first, I think, the two teams nullified each other, and it was one team basically went, "We're not going to do anything until you do something," and it was dull for like 60, 70 minutes. But there was one Villa fan.
You got the win. Yeah.
And my word, if he was nearer the screen than everyone else in the pub, that was all were Arsenal fans. And my word, was it an intimidating bunch of people that were behind him. And he would turn around when, like, for example, Gabriel got taken out, for example, right by the goal,
and then that walk on. Yeah.
And everyone kind of went, what? Like that. And he turned around and goes, wasn't a foul to everyone. I was just like, oh my God. I was like, I wouldn't do this. I was like, what's he doing? And all the way through, he kept going, you're going to be lost when Duran comes on. He kept saying that. And I thought that was the most ledge thing. He was like, when Duran comes on, when he came on, he stood up, hard clap. And then Trossard scored, and he turned, in all fairness, he turned around and he goes, he's so good. I really like that Trossard. And but the way he was talking, I was like, oh my God, this guy isn't reading the room at all. Yeah, it was mad.
You got, as long as you're not being like mad disrespectful, you've got to have a little bit of passion, haven't you? So if you're getting in someone's face and being like, then it's a different matter. But you're just being loud and obnoxious. If
I went to Birmingham City Centre though and went to watch Arsenal Villa, I would silently sit in the corner. If Villa scored, I would give a little fist pump just so they all know.
I wouldn't be there.
That's also true. I tell you what, we tried to watch the game, and this is going to sound ridiculous. You'll probably laugh at me. And Joe was very like, "Yeah, I don't think that's a thing, Scott." And I was like, "You know the BoxPark? Is it BoxPark? BoxPark? Where they watch England games, right? The big square thing near Wembley."
Yeah.
I went around the front and I didn't know an AEW access thing had just finished.
It happened, yeah. I thought you might have got involved with that, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was. I think we got there about 3, so I think it finished at 3. Yeah. And I walked around to the front and I said, "You right, mate?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Got any football on it?" He goes, "Football?" And I went, "Yeah." And he goes, "Nah, bruv." And I went, "Okay, no worries." And in my head, I was just like, "But they play like England games. Surely there was like the Arsenal game." And he was like, "And what was going on there? Like a disco?" I don't know what was going on.
Yeah.
And then we had to walk over to Starlight Express and around the back of there. That's where the pub was.
So you didn't go in... they would have shown it in there, surely.
No, he wasn't. He was very adamant they weren't showing it. He made me feel like they've never showed football I've only seen clips of people watching football in there.
I'm with you. 100%. It's a sports football bar. Yeah. Like, it is 100%. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe it was just being shut down for the AEW thing, or if that just had finished, then they were just doing something. But that definitely is 100% a sport thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's because when England played, that's the clip they would show, isn't it? People sat on the benches with it. But anyway, we ended up in this tiny thing, but it was fine.
Why did Joe laugh at you?
Why did Joe laugh at me? Because he was like, I don't think they will show it. And I was like, okay. But then when the way the guy spoke to me, when I turned, Joe was like, I was like, anyway, can we walk real quick away from the situation?
Nah, you were right. Sure.
Yeah, Saturday night football in London. I was like, BoxPark, well, that'll have it. But oh well. But yeah, since then though, I think we mentioned it last week. We had to go to a funeral, but it was over towards Brighton way. So the 14-hour round trip that we did 2 days ago, plus the London trip, plus the Cardiff trip, plus work, I think I worked out that I'm just under 34 hours in a car in the last 7 days, which is a day and a half, which is mad. But so I'm very much done with a car at the minute, which I do have work tomorrow, and work is an hour away. But that's fine. That's
in comparison.
Any of these, it's a breeze now, in my head at least. But no, it's just a lot of car journeys, and it was a very up and down week, and it's been It's been a week, like I said at the start. It's been a week. It's been interesting.
That's kind of annoyingly when what life throws at that point. That you get the good with the bad. Yeah, I'm glad that your dad did go.
Yeah, it's like the mint card, isn't it? Yeah, no, we got Dad into a Starbucks. I'll say that. That deserves an I'll say that.
Yeah.
He had a cup of tea, and the faces he made was very contorting. But he did drink it all.
I'm not gonna lie, that services you stopped at on the way down to London, I remember, and then like the first time, and then you stopped the way back from Brighton. I hate those services on the M4 with a passion.
Chieveley, Lady Lamera, Membry.
Between Chieveley and Wales, I hate all of those services.
I'll tell you where we did go, Cobham.
Did you? All right.
So we got Cobham. So I think from Brighton you have to go like basically all the way up and then cross. And then
basically,
and right as we started,
and then go down.
Yeah, and we saw Cobham on the sign. We're like, we're not going past it because it looked like it was kind of straight ahead. It was like a few more miles, and me and Joe were like, should we just go out of our way to go to Cobham? And then we took the left, and it just said 2 miles Cobham. We were like, oh my god, we haven't been here for ages, which is mad that we got excited. I got a burrito. I got Dad at McDonald's. I got myself chicken from McDonald's. I got Yum Yums from Greg's.
Oh.
I took it all back to the car.
Yeah.
And I proceeded to make the biggest mess with a burrito while driving, which you shouldn't do.
Whilst driving? Me.
Well, I tried. Well, a little bit.
What
of it.
car
I was
did
like nearly finished.
In?
Joe's was that car. Joe did Cardiff and Brighton car-wise, and my car was to Wembley and back.
Okay, fair. Did you drive through London, or did you drive around it?
We never had to pay a congestion.
Because you come in on the west side anyway. So
so it was really quite simple. But the Wembley part, though, was really, like, just that Wembley area is so infrastructurally correct.
Yeah, it's
for a big show like a WrestleMania or SummerSlam or an All In, because everything's there.
Yeah, everything is there and everything's fine. It took me an hour and a bit to get out the car park for Taylor Swift, so they haven't got that down. But yeah, it is.
That was what was really nice as well. Is like obviously because we worked Wembley, we didn't have to like scramble out. So like I left the stadium maybe 2 hours after the main event. And when I did, I had to walk 5 minutes to my hotel, and we ended up going to like an after party or whatever and some other bits. But it was just like, it was so relaxing because you're just like, I'm not rushing out. I recommend if anyone ever goes to do a Wembley thing, whether it's Taylor Swift, wrestling, stay in a hotel. The problem is the hotel prices.
Yeah, it's silly.
Were so crazy.
Have you seen what the Manchester hotels have done? It's what the Liverpool hotels did for the Eurovision when it was over, when it got announced. They cancelled everyone's booking due to an admin or computer error, then relisted them for about 3 times as much of the money. Crazy. And that's what they're doing right now for the Oasis stuff in Manchester. I'd imagine that the London hotels around that time, they probably do price them that way anyway, because they know that something's going, like a weekend in August, there's pretty much something going down in Wembley.
Well, like 2 weeks out, we booked, and I mean, everything that's in Wembley Way was around 900 a night, which seems mad. Our one was not that. Yeah. No, ours was hence what we got. But at the same time, it was still too expensive for what we got. Yeah. But I was very happy with it, and to take away the stress part of it was so much better.
Yeah. I agree.
There's a pickleball court at Wembley Way now.
I'm not sure if I saw that.
You know, like where there's like, you go up Wembley Way and there's like TGIs, and then you could do like the little round.
Oh, yeah.
As you come out of there, there's like a little kind of park that's got like 3 pickleball courts.
Oh, sick. Yeah, I do know what you're talking about now.
And me and Joe, we played with the idea of getting in there a few times. But like seriously, like not just mucking about, we were like, should we get in there early tomorrow?
Raymond plays pickleball.
Yeah, it looks fun. It does seem fun. Well, I have a pepper or cornet that's similar to what you just said.
Okay, go for it.
Pepper or cornet, Oasis. It has to be done. Wow. It had to be done.
It is big.
We talked about pepper or cornet had to be kind of like... we had the radio. We had Dave Berry on Heart or something. I don't know what it is. We have Heart Country, is it? Or is it something country? I don't know.
Yeah.
Might not be Heart, Capital, I don't know. but they have like a load of different. It's actually a weird way that the radio station works, because I realized it in the drive times, the evening and the morning. It's Dave Berry and then someone else in the evening. They play. There's like 7 different channels, but he is on all of them. But the songs are of the genre of whatever.
That's clever.
And they just piece together the closest song that's like the time for each one. So we listen to, I think it's Heart Country or whatever.
I didn't know that existed. I scroll down DAB to the, like, I think it's like Total Country or something like that. I can't remember what it is, but that sounds pretty fun.
Yeah, and so, but in the middle, it becomes like the 2 kind of midday and 2 o'clock kind of interviewers or whatever. They're actual country. So they have a woman from Nashville and they have something else happening. But it's country music. But every 10 minutes there was news. And because we left at 5 a.m., for the first 3 hours, every 10 minutes they'll go, Oasis have a big announcement. I can't wait to hear what it is. It's going to be life-changing. And I was like, life-changing, is it? And then they remind us every 10 minutes. And then at 8 o'clock, they told us the thing. And then would play an Oasis song or talk about Oasis, and then go, this is life-changing. And I've never heard this much conversation about Oasis. It was in the actual news with real things that are happening in the world.
It is going to happen. It has been. They have been calling out for it for a while. Hey, maybe you and Joe have a little beef and don't talk to each other for 13 years, and people are like, "That's this. Let's get the brothers back for a reunion." Yeah. I had the whole discourse, because obviously I've been going with a couple of groups with this. Like, I was trying to help out our NFL friends, but I feel like they didn't like my advice.
Bruno's like, oh man, if you want to go to Oasis, you should get a box. It's $9,000, but it'd be a real nice time. And everyone's like, what? I was hoping to get a 50 quid ticket. Yeah.
And then Josh messaged me and he was like, I'm sure your eclectic music taste doesn't include these. Because I said to him, I feel like I do have quite an eclectic music taste.
Yeah.
I feel like I can listen to anything and sort of be okay. Like, there's nothing that really winds me up. And if, like, so I wouldn't try and, like, it wouldn't ruin a mood if something came on that someone really wanted to listen to as such.
Yeah.
He always takes that as, if I like my eclectic music, I should be going to everything. Like, I could, like, there was an Ibiza orchestra that was a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, nah, I'm not feeling it. It was like, coming from the person with an eclectic
orchestra.
Yeah, I know. I was like, just because I say that doesn't mean it has to, like.
Yeah, it's everything.
Yeah,
it just means that you're fine with all music,
and that I would then go to everything. So in the DMs to him, I said, as much I don't mind Oasis. Real talk, I never really got them as much.
Yeah.
We had them on the Zen because you stole them off Joe. So I had them on there, and I like the bangers. Outside of that, I don't really care. So this is where I don't like it. It didn't bother me. Let's just say that, shall we?
Yeah. 2 things. You would have to pay me to go watch them.
Yeah,
but I don't have an issue with Oasis.
No.
It's just the idea of getting me out of bed to drive to a big stadium and get caught in that traffic. You need to either be paying me or you need to be something that I desperately have to see now. Like, I think. And he I like him. Like, Joe had, like you said, the albums when I was growing up. But it wasn't until the OC that I got into them, because the Rainy Day episode, Champagne Supernova, is the song when Seth and Summer do the Spider-Man kiss. And it's Sandy's trying to get home to Kirsten because that girl tried to kiss him. And he's like, oh, LA Drivers Country. And it's Champagne Super. And I was just like, this is such a banger.
Like, 100% is a banger, and I appreciate what they did in the 90s. Like, they were huge. They helped it. But one, they're City fans and they hate United, so I feel like I don't like him anyway because of that. Like, because they are so City. But by the by, that should be anything. But it was just never my, like, oh, I have to. Like,
yeah, that whole, like, get the badge and listen to Oasis, that's not for me. But I mean, when I learned about Champagne Supernova, and I was like, oh, some of the other songs, I knew Wonderwall and other ones. I was like, I'd never heard Champagne Supernova. And then I think Joe had a greatest hits, and I had it in my car, the old CD folder.
Yeah.
And I would actually put them both on and sometimes listen to them in full. And I was like, God, every song is good. But the Killers are also really good. And I like most of their songs, but I wouldn't go see them.
No.
But I get that they're really good. And same with Oasis. That's kind of my feeling.
Yeah. My exact point. That's what I said to Josh. I like them, but I don't mind their music. But would I go to the efforts that I did? It would be the exact same, if not more effort than I did for Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
And they 100% on that level for me personally. But they are for what's going to probably be about 1 billion people. So, hey.
Also, a lot more than there should be, I think. I think a lot of people are getting caught up in this because there are people Insta-storying up a storm. And I'm like, you've never listened to Oasis in your life. What are you doing? There was someone that I know who's 23. They were like, oh my God, all my dreams have come true or something. Oasis, man. I was like, you were born in 2001. I was like, what's going on here? And again, we like Metallica.
We do.
But Metallica was only like, it started like 6 years before we were born.
Yeah.
But 4 years before we were born. We're talking 10, 11 years before. And they split up a few years after you were born. Like Metallica is still going and bringing out new music. I was like, what is happening? And I think someone said, like, if you want a ticket, there should be like, you have to be over 40 and name 3 songs that aren't Wonderwall. And I thought we were the demographic. It's not. It's like 40 and up.
It's not. It is. It's boomer. It's boomer for sure.
Yeah.
They Oasis, I think, are our. This is tough, actually. It might be our. It might be our. Like, I'm gonna butcher that. It could be the Killers, or it could be something like that. Arctic Monkeys, maybe.
Arctic Monkeys is a good shout, I think.
Like it's that type of thing, I think.
Yeah, because Oasis, the guys are like 50, aren't they? I think they said they just turned 50.
Yeah, or more.
So the people going to watch them are like a couple of years younger, whereas like the Arctic Monkeys are our age.
Yes.
Which is what's mad.
Yeah.
But we came through like MySpace, and What Good Looks Good in the Dance Floor was like the same time frame as when we were 15, 16 getting MySpace or whatever. Yes. So yeah, I'd say Arctic Monkey. I don't think that's a bad shout. And a lot of, again, everything in hindsight, Oasis will forever be like one of the best evers. But in 30 years, people are like, oh, Arctic Monkeys are way better. It's the same of the whole like One Direction and not the Beatles. Of course they're not, but they were more popular. People hate that.
Yeah.
But it's proof. Yeah. There's proof there. Yeah. Beatles are they more talented? Probably. But there's also a lot less chords that hadn't been done.
Yes.
And there's a lot less sings to impress people with. But time moves on, but only in hindsight do people really give people credit. So.
I agree. I think One Direction will get credit for what they potentially did.
Yeah.
But
by the way, I'm not a big 1D over here. I wasn't pushing them like they're bigger than the Beatles.
Hey, if 1D, if they reunited, I'd be spending hella.
Would you go?
100%.
Oh, really?
That's bad. That probably sounds bad in this whole grand scheme of things that I'd spend.
No, because you're eclectic. Because you love Taylor Swift, you love One Direction, you love the Backstreet Boys, you love Hanson, but you also love Parkway, and you're such a big fan of Motionless in White or whatever they're called.
Shut up.
And by the way, I quite like them now.
Hey, I was just ahead of the game, mate. Always ahead. The
Ripley guy.
Yeah. I had no idea. I don't know why I said that day. It was so strange.
You're out of control. You're just trying to impress people.
Yeah,
it happens.
But talking of Parkway, did you see the behind their secret download set vlog that they did?
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed that, and I quite liked the dynamic when Winston was like, he's so to the money, like to the point. Like, he's like, what are we doing it for, lads? Like, is it going to make us laugh, or is it going to make the whole thing? He was like, the crowd was like, and then he got his way in the end, and I think it was the right decision.
Yeah, that was like it's not like this, but I saw a tweet that's very funny, and I don't know if you're going to understand this. Do you know the Costco guys?
Yeah, I've seen them. Yeah,
there's a guy. It's like the older guy, and then the son, I guess, and then there's usually like a person there, and they're like staring into the camera, like, "What do you think of this chicken bagel?" And then whatever. Someone did a behind the scenes of it, and they were like, "This is terrifying," because he's like, "No, you have to say this." No, chicken bagel first. And people are like, it's terrifying, but someone's tweet just went, I know he's manic, but every decision he made in this video is so right. And I thought that was so good.
Like, sometimes it is. Like, it's crazy. It's great. The behind the scenes of people making social media stuff is like, it's
mortifying.
It's funny.
Yeah. Like when you see people doing TikToks in the street, we saw that in Wembley a couple of times. And I mean, I saw it in Philly, and it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. It was like a dance troupe, like a male and female dance troupe, and they hit the coolest, and they did it with such, like, they walked up to the monument, and then they just went into like a 30-second thing. It was so in time, and then they just ended it, and they all started just posting it. And I was like, I'm into that. Whatever that was cool. But when you see one guy just giving it one of these in the street,
it's a secondhand embarrassment. However, the confidence to do it, I wish I did. I wish I did have.
Yeah. That's like when we used to vlog. Like,
I
would really struggle to be like, oh, I'm going to pay for this item. I'm going to put my phone here.
Yeah.
And the interaction is here, and then you pick it up. And when someone comes, like, you're in a shop and you're asking about something, and you're just like, yeah, definitely. And you're just like, you haven't asked them, can I film you? You're just doing it, and they're just now like, oh, okay, I guess I'm being filmed while I do this. Like that whole idea is just, I'm scared.
So going back to Peppercorn Oasis.
Oh yeah, that's what
I hate to do it. I'm right on the line, but I feel like my thing towards it is more corn than pepper. But it's hey, I'm gonna be on the fence.
Okay, I'm gonna heavy pepper. I got my tickets yesterday. No, I'm gonna pepper it just because I actually really like the music. But I don't know if we're big concert goers, aren't we? Like we have been. So now I really got to want to see a band or tick them off my bucket list. And I know Oasis technically could be that band, but I don't know when I would put their music on anymore. Like me and Joe talk about this a lot. Is, when people listen to certain music, the music that we were actually listening to when we spoke about this was Sabrina Carpenter. And I went to Joe, what situation in life is this song good? Like, when do you put this on? And I was like, the only one I could think about is people getting ready to go out. Because it's not even a go out music, because there's like like Grande has that kind of like soft, slurry type. Yeah. It's like Billie Eilish, but different, but it's kind of lower tone. You're not going to go out and dance that unless it's like a remix. So, but it's also like not that happy. The lyrics aren't that like.
It's for kids, 100%.
Yeah,
it's for that. But also people, I go in and if I go to the gym, listen to heavy metal, rock, and people listen to pop. People listen to drum and bass. Like, I think it's different.
I know a couple of Peppercorns that listen to musicals in the gym. So.
Do they? Oh, hello. Yeah.
I'd say that though. Musicals I get because there's emotion to it, so it can kind of back up the kind of. That's all I think. It's just I think about what I'd listen to. Like now, I pretty much exclusively listen to metal, pop punk, country, and then nostalgia is probably the only other type of music. And again, those songs don't really. When would you listen to them unless they mean something to you in hindsight?
I listen. Yeah, I listen to.
Joe and I were talking about this as well. It's like on the way back from like a long journey, if we're left to our own devices, the music takes the exact same turn every journey. Yeah, and it depends on how long the journey is, how weird it's going to get. It starts at country music pretty much exclusively.
Yeah.
Especially if this is not at night coming back from a wrestling show. It will slowly turn into like songs that Joe and I would like Annie Up by like, I don't know who even sings it. It might be Ludacris. I don't know. But that type of music. And then like, it'll go into Nelly. Usually it hits Florida Georgia Line at the bottom of the barrel of country, and it's a Nelly remix. Then that Nelly remix turns into let's listen to that type of music. Yeah. Then it turns into like 90s R&B and like Joe with Stutter and like Boys to Men, Bone Thugs and Harmony and all this kind of stuff. And then it goes into like Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, all this kind of stuff. And it always ends, and I don't know why, it pops straight back to like Slipknot. So right at the end of our journeys, it usually becomes really intense. But I don't know why that does that. But it does it every time.
That's to be fair. That's you and Joe. I've got playlists now. Like I have my own country playlist.
Oh, we know.
I have my own. Yeah. We talked. What was that episode? 1, episode 2? I don't know. So yeah, I kind of just rattle through them, and I have a late night playlist, especially when I'm alone driving. Like Big Man needs to get his like
one tier.
The emo guy comes out. All right.
Yeah.
It's like the moonlight brings out the emo kid.
Yeah, it's weird as well with cars as well because you do your best like thinking in there. Most of my best talking gets done in there. Like for example, like if you're with like you and I are on a if we conversate in a car, a lot more stuff comes out than if we were just at dinner or hanging out with her. But I find if I travel alone is when I get a lot of good ideas or stuff, and I end up having a voice note because I'll forget it.
Yeah.
But it's only ever if you're alone. If I'm with someone, it's like occupying your brain and you can't think fully.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It is strange.
Because I did like all those hours in the car, and I did the last hour on my own from Joe's house to ours, and I came up with
got your best thinking done.
So much stuff came, and I was knackered, and I was just like, just get home. But all of a sudden, I was like when I got in, I was like, I need to sort so much stuff.
Yeah. That's what I'm. So I definitely do that, and we definitely do have some crazy conversations in the car.
Oh, no doubt.
Fun. The the end of my year, like the things that I have on my list that are booked and what I want to book are so weird. The 2 weeks I will be up in around Wales. Maybe I should be at the run for it. So not this weekend, next weekend. Matt Rife.
Yep.
Then I have the Jonas Brothers.
Oh, nice.
Then I have Falling in Reverse in December.
Are you going to that?
Oh, yeah. We're
wicked.
Me and Ohio are going.
I saw he was going. I assume maybe someone would link up.
But we're trying. I think he wants to go to the O2 show with Ask Alexandria now. So see both once. So I don't know. The one that I'm going to is at Wembley, and then I want to book.
Is that arena?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
They can't do that.
No, yeah, they can't do stadium. Only the Brazil can do that.
Yeah. Then the thing I want to book is the Greatest Showman musical. That's in Earls Court between like September and December or something for a limited run.
This year?
Yeah. So I'll be going to that. And then I've got a day to remember next year. So we're already... And at the moment, I'm going to a day to remember on my bloody own. So
I'll be going to a day to remember. I just need to sort that out because there's another gig that's just popped up. Which I don't know if you have any interest. It's January, and I have to go. And half of this you're going to be like, ugh. Half of it you might be into it.
All right.
The Wonder Years are finally playing.
Okay.
They're playing Swansea.
All right.
But they're not headlining. They're the support band to Neck Deep.
Okay, yeah, I'm there.
Yeah, so Neck Deep and Wonder Years are playing Swansea.
That's pretty sick.
And I was like, hell yeah. And I've never seen Wonder Years, so that is the one of the few bands that I will go out of my way to see. I think the tickets are actually on sale tomorrow.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be like the hottest ticket. I don't think.
You'll be surprised.
Neck Deep in Swansea maybe isn't it?
Yeah. I'll definitely be up for that.
Can I ask you another pepper or cornet? It's a very quick one. It's almost like a quick fire pepper or cornet. Pepper or cornet? Cupcakes.
Cupcake. Hey. Heavy pepper.
I asked this because they were available in catering the other day.
Right.
And they were available in my house right now.
Okay.
And they're just little slices of heaven, aren't they?
What flavors are we talking?
In catering, they were caramel and salted caramel and vanilla. And then today is strawberry and vanilla. And it's not so much the flavor because I think they're little slices of heaven because, I mean, it's just cake, but in a very small amount.
Mm.
I'm more worried about the infrastructure of the whole cupcake. You know what I mean? Like peeling that bit and then the icing on top. I don't know if it correlates to your face in any positive way. Like you couldn't eat one in the street when you're walking.
No, the icing gets all up in.
It's an over the sink job, isn't it? And then with no one around and then a little wipe around.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's what I don't like. Whereas a cake, it's a fork thing. Whereas you can put
cupcakes in a bowl if you want. It's just sponge and icing at the end of the day. It's the same infrastructure. Put together different.
Yeah, I think I'm just not sure about the wrapper, so I'm going to corn it.
Nah, I'm heavy pepper on that. What I do like is there's these cupcakes where you can get which are filled with stuff, and we know that you don't like the nut in the bun, do you? I
don't like anything that squirts out when I eat.
So that's even better. You can get a Vicky Sponge one that has like the frosting in the middle and like. Oh, it's like
that's cool. I bet. So you're pepper in it, yeah?
Oh, heavy, yeah.
Heavy pepper. Also, before we leave, I want to do a dog of the week.
Yeah, let's go. Because did we get news? Obviously, prior to the podcast, we got Carson that should have been going to Little Bruce.
Little Red.
Little Red. Little Bruce.
Little Red was very interested in Carson.
He should have been.
And Carson sat in kennels because maybe it didn't work for Kieran perfectly.
No.
But he's gone now, and that's what it's all about, getting these forever homes out. And so Carson went, and last week was Crumble. Little Crumble has also just gone. Oh. So our record is still at like 80% here. We're doing a very good job.
Yeah,
it could just be a coincidence, but we're taking some kind of credit.
Yeah.
But the next dog he's a Belgian Mal cross German Shepherd.
He's
and
beautiful.
Belgian Mals are notoriously like police dogs, things like that. But they're usually quite dark. They're kind of mainly black with some tan. Whereas this one's got a lot more GSD in them, German Shepherd. And they're almost fully tan. But they've got the energy. They're about 1 year old. They've got the energy of a Belgian Mal. They are very strong. He's a very experienced home. Sorry, Bruno.
We need the name. You're leaving us on tender hooks here. Give us the name of the boy.
The name is Cozy. The boy is Cozy. He's a lovely little dog. Cozy is the name of the Belgian Mouse cross GSD. But again, like I said, it's a particular home. It just needs. He's so stressed in kennels, obviously, because he has so much energy. We get him out 4 or 5, 6 times a day, and we get him out into big yards, long leads, agility, do all that kind of stuff. Because he's the type of dog that needs it. Some Frenchies, for example, do not even want to leave their kennels because they're lazy. Some calves are a bit like that. But then there's things like Jack Russells, GSDs, Collies. Collies go absolutely nuts because they're so smart.
Yeah.
They do very much realize they're in a very small amount of room, so they want to get out. They want to keep stimulated. And Belgian Mals are one of the most intelligent dogs in the world. Hence why they used as police dogs and sniffer dogs and that. So. But hopefully you've enjoyed the pictures we've just seen. The link will be below on the website. Obviously, only apply if you really feel you're an experienced home or someone who'd be able to take care and give them everything they need in life. But if not, let people know. Tell people about Cozy. Yeah. Send it to your friends if you think someone might know. But other than that, that's it really. That's all I got for the day.
It's been delightful. No Joe, so we apologise for that. He's hard working at the rescue, so we had to fit it in when we fit it in.
Yeah, and also, like I said, we've had a busy 7 days. I think Peppercorns and Gunners was done last Tuesday, and Gunners was early, and then Gunners was done normal time this week, but Peppercorn and Simon Millipod is done late, and it's just because how busy. Back next week should be back to pretty much regular scheduled stuff, and you should have everyone on all 3 of those pods. Everyone should be good.
Yeah, next week will be back to normal, and then the week after we might, if we get time, have an in-person.
Ooh,
for the first
Matt
time.
Rife special
For the first time in a long time. It'll probably be on the flip of Matt Rife, and
no doubt will be on his TikTok as well when he calls us out of the crowd.
Yeah, I wonder.
How close are we? Do you know?
We are 4 rows from
the front.
Yeah.
Center or kind
pretty
of
much center, yeah.
Oh yeah, we're getting picked.
I don't know if we are.
Mate, he picks people 10 rows back. Like he's gonna see the giant ginger guy and instantly we need to know everything.
Oh no, we'll see.
But anyway, make sure you listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, and Amazon Music. Go to YouTube and search out the Peppercorn Boys, where we have the whole episodes up every single week. So give it a 5-star review as well on the Spotify and all that kind of stuff, because it really helps the algorithm, gets that podcast out more, gets more views on it. And get prepared, get over to that TikTok, Peppercorn Boys, and give that a subscribe or a follow, whatever they call it over there. And like the videos already up, there's about 6 or 7 up there already, so go enjoy them.
Yeah.
Have you got anything to finish us on, bro? I don't feel the aggression towards you today, so I don't have.
No, I don't have the aggression towards you either. It's been very delightful. We haven't spoken.
Lovely conversation.
Yeah, it has. Hey, I'll see you in the next one, mate. I'll see you in the next one.
You couldn't do it.